You are the eyes and ears of our organization. You can help demonstrate environmental leadership by reporting illicit discharges. Hello, my name is Jeremiah Unger. I work here in the Environmental Programs branch at CDOT headquarters. I manage the Illicit Discharge program, and today we're going to go over the required training for the Illicit Discharge program. We will be covering dry weather monitoring, safety, identifying what a spill is versus an illicit discharge, and what information to collect and where to send it. To start off our training, let's take a look at our legal documentation. So this is directly from our Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System permit, which is the illicit discharge part of that permit. The permittee must train applicable personnel to recognize and appropriately respond to illicit discharges observed during typical duties. The permittee must identify those who will be likely to make such observations and provide training to those individuals. If you're watching this video, that would be you. The permittee must implement procedures to respond to and identify illicit discharges. The permittee is not expected to actively seek out unreported illicit discharges, but is required to identify and respond to illicit discharges observed during day-to-day normal work activities. The permittee must implement procedures, including the tools needed to trace the source of an illicit discharge when identified within the MS4. This description is the regulatory guidance for this training. It reads very formal, so let's break it down by moving on to our first topic, which is dry weather monitoring. Dry weather monitoring basically means only stormwater should be going into our stormwater system. So if we see discharges on a dry day, like today, when it hasn't rained or snowed in a couple of weeks, that's a case where we might want to track that flow back and find out where the water is coming from. Allowable discharges share a common theme. Most of them are clean water, including things like irrigation return flows, uncontaminated groundwater upwells, including footer and foundation drains, hydrant flushing, decoordinated swimming pool discharges, and emergency firefighting operations. Remembering what discharges are allowable and which are not will help you monitor and evaluate the drainage system you are responsible for. Next, let's talk about safety. A good rule of thumb is if you don't know what it is, don't approach it. Don't attempt to clean up any unidentified substance. Unidentified discharges can be hazardous to your health. Leave illegal dumping up to law enforcement agencies. It is your responsibility to report incidents of legal dumping and not try to physically resolve the issue yourself. Substances like heavy metals and pesticides can't be seen but pose a high health risk. Take care when you wash your clothes when you go home at night, and make sure you wash your clothes separately from those of the rest of your family. Please be careful of fumes. If there is a spill or discharge, fumes may not be visible and they can travel quite a distance. So please always make sure you stay upwind if there are suspected fumes at the site. Another word on safety. Don't be that person that doesn't take potential hazards seriously, who doesn't wear proper PPE, and who does not take extra precautions to protect themselves and the people around them. Seriously, don't be that person. Headquarters has access to cleanup contractors, cleanup crews, and equipment that protects us from harm, as does law enforcement and fire safety crews. The expectation that you will not clean up any messes or unknown chemicals unless you are properly equipped and trained. Now, we're going to talk about the difference between a spill and an illicit discharge. Identifying the difference between a spill and illicit discharge all comes down to location, location, location. As I mentioned earlier, illicit discharges are part of our MS4 permit and protect us from illicit materials entering our right-of-way. That's a key component of this. Something that's entering our right-of-way is an illicit discharge. The spills program is set up to respond to spills generated from within our state right-of-way. This includes identifying and ticketing responsible parties in an accident following cleanup efforts. Spills are handled by the State Patrol and Department of Public Health and Environment.
The Colorado State Patrol Hazmat Section is typically notified through one of our regional communications center, and our communication center is for all of CSP. So they can be reached either directly or through a 911 or some other type of emergency dispatch center. A spill triggering event would be an actual or potential release in any amount of a material that is a hazardous material that is either that or a marine pollutant that can potentially or actually enter into a waterway. That waterways include sewers, storm drains, ditches, canals, lakes, and rivers. Other than waterways would include a potential or actual release of a petroleum product exceeding 25 gallons. Another potential triggering event would be a potential release or actual release exceeding its reportable quantity amount, or if it is anything that can possibly endanger human life or the environment. And also any spilled or abandoned unknown substance. When people don't know what it is, they need somebody to come tell them if it's hazardous or not. So when we're mitigating those events, our goal is to make sure that we're minimizing the effects and the threats on human life and also in the environment.
Orphan spills, or spills that have no identifiable party, are handled by CDOT Property Management. CDOT Property Management has specific contractors on standby to respond to such incidents. Now, illicit discharges are handled by CDOT's water quality team. There are many ways to report illicit discharges for CDOT maintenance. The first is the Quick Capture Illicit Discharge application. This is the preferred method of reporting an illicit discharge. The second is by calling the illicit discharge hotline, which is 303-512-4426. You can also reach out to your regional water pollution control manager or environmental specialist. Please remember, as you are trying to document a spill or an illicit discharge, please make sure that you get pictures and identifiable information such as company name, usually on the side of a company vehicle, license plate numbers, and physical features of the person. Use what tools you have on hand, like a sticky note, a text message, or an email. Because the most important thing is to record as much information you can about the incident while staying safe. The benefits of using the Quick Capture application is it gives a point, a picture, and your name, and it automatically sends it off for us to follow up and investigate. For further guidance on the Quick Capture app, you can watch our video tutorial on the CDOT YouTube channel. And thank you for doing your part by protecting our water resources of the beautiful state of Colorado. Stay safe out there.